Welcome to Dare, the show for innovators, entrepreneurs, and startup leaders who dare to shape the future. Your hosts today are Ned Hayes and Cecilia Mariani. Dare is brought to you by Darwaf, the superpower tech team that can make your vision a reality. The Dare podcast is excited to welcome David Ngene, the CEO of Pacmodo, to the podcast today. Pacmodo is an interesting startup based here in Portland, Oregon. David comes out of a fantastic background with years at Nike, and before that at the Rhode Island School of Design. He's done design and industrial creation for a number of years, and he's bringing all of that entrepreneurial vision to his new startup. So welcome to the podcast, David.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you for having me today. And Pacmodo is excited to be here.
Well, if you could just tell us at the outset, what is Pacmodo about? What are you doing there?
We're making really cool backpacks. That's why I try to boil it down to people. But it's more focused on something that actually can adapt and grow with you over time as you change and evolve over time. Because we're not linear people. We evolve constantly over time, and the product that we buy tends to stay the same as the day we bought it. And that typically leads to a mismatch in between our needs and what the product is able to provide us. And so we're here to solve that problem.
Yeah. Well, could you unpack that a little bit more? Tell us a little bit more about what goes into the product.
Yes, exactly. So basically, we all know what a backpack is. We use them every day in our lives. They're actually one of the most valuable tools we use pretty regularly. What we notice, though, is that I've never seen somebody who is just truly happy with the bag that they have. And because of that, we tend to accumulate them. We buy one, we use it for a bit. It meets about 70% of our needs. Maybe a pocket's too small, or it's just a little uncomfortable in the straps and you don't quite like it. So you put it in your closet and then you buy another one. And you just repeat this process until you have about 10 or 12 backpacks accumulated in your house. And I guess, what we were looking at was just how people were using their bags and just really trying to figure out there's got to be a better way. We can't just be buying these things and accumulating them and just, tossing them out eventually. We got to make this something that's even a bit more useful in our lives. And so literally it was just trying to make the backpack just a little bit better for how we use it.
Yeah, well, I saw you give a demo of this product, and I was really intrigued by the way the components fit together, almost like Lego pieces.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did that concept come about? Like, these are modular components that you can mix and match depending on, like you said, what you need in the moment, what your lifestyle requires, right?
Yeah, Legos I would say that's actually a really good inspiration when you think about what you can do with Legos. Legos are the most creative, versatile, I guess, tools that we have that we can build and really sculpt and discover new things with. Backpacks are pretty stagnant when you buy them. They're kind of serve one use. If you want a hiking bag, you got a hiking bag. If you want a daily commute bag, you got that. Want a travel bag, you're kind of stuck in this space here, but none of them flex in between those zones very well. And so what you're talking about was we have two components for us. We have the harness and we have the cap, is what we're calling the storage compartment, basically where we just keep our normal items from laptops or whatever it might be. And we just made the junction between those two temporary. And literally, just undoing that permanent connection between the straps, the harness that you wear, and that storage component freed up this amazing ecosystem where it becomes like Legos, where we can actually have different caps, different harnesses, and you can pick and choose how you want to put those two together. I think one of the biggest things for me was that I had this one old backpack and I really loved the way that it felt, but the storage compartment was a little small and it didn't really give me what I needed. And then I loved the way storage compartment on this one back here, but I hated the straps. It was like, well, can I just put those two together? But now you can.
Right. So you chose kind of the best of breed of all the different things out there and put them together into one package. And that package can be one package or it can be different components depending on the time of the day or the situation you're going into. Got it. Well, so you are by training an industrial designer.
Yes.
And I'm curious if you've seen things like this before in your industrial design career, or previously you were also at Nike. Like, was there any inspiration that came out of those experiences?
So weird. Modularity has been part of my ethos as an individual for as long as I can remember. I hate things that aren't useful, and useful for a variety of things and useful for a very long time. I think, that was my biggest gripe as a designer, kind of looking at the way that we use things in our world. Everything's sort of centered around a single use. And the way our capitalist world works is that we buy something, we use it for a bit, breaks down, we throw it away. Or even if it doesn't break down, we just still throw it away because it's not meeting our need.
Right.
So modularity was something that I've always been drawn to because it allows you to adapt that product and actually end up creating less waste over time, because you can replace or you can repair or you can adapt the thing to suit your needs over a longer period of time. And that's in smaller components end up contributing less to our end waste streams. But
right.
yeah. And so and even at Nike, that's the thing used to break my heart the most about big companies like that, is where we create product and we'll sell it to consumer one time, the consumer use it and throw it away. And that's just how our product, that's how our world, our ecosystem works right now in the world where we buy our products. We buy, use, dispose. So the inspiration actually just came from my observation of seeing how we were utilizing the things that we use on a day-to-day basis. And so I wish I was able to integrate more stuff like this at Nike, but it's very difficult with a big company like that to actually kind of upend our business model and say, hey, now we're going to do this thing totally different here. And so for me to really kind of dive into this world and actually expand upon this a bit more, you got to do it from the ground up. It's really hard to do it in something that's an existing machine. So definitely took inspiration for just my passion for keeping things around, especially the things that I love, around longer.
Right. Well, so you founded this company here in Portland. And what I'm intrigued by in Portland is that we don't just have technical products like SaaS products, IoT products, AI products, but we also have a number of consumer products in the market, ranging from, Nike is really a bellwether of the shoe industry here. Adidas is here. Under Armour has production facilities here. And a lot of people are designing consumer goods here. So can you speak to what makes Portland unique in that aspect?
Yeah, there's no better place to make a consumer good in Portland, especially things that are more focused on lifestyle.
Yeah.
The Pacific Northwest is all about lifestyle. I think because we have such varied environments, from the ocean to the mountains to the desert to things, and people can play here in so many different ways. It just inspires so many different types of products that suit our lifestyles that are constantly changing. And I think, from Nike being founded here, Adi joining the folks in town, and to access that network of talent, and other companies doing the same thing, it really created this interesting space. It's almost like the Silicon Valley of consumer products, where we actually there's this concentration of talent and amazing thoughtfulness and ideas that stem from Portland in particular. And so we're thinking about, making this company. It's not so much about, I want to be maybe based in Austin or maybe based in New York or whatnot. There's no better place than Portland to really build something like this because of the amazing talent and amazing environments that we live in.
Right. It really is an interesting confluence of people from different backgrounds who can enrich each other. Yeah. So this community supports each other. What kind of support have you found here, and where have you been able to demo the product?
The support has been amazing. Like, when you come to somebody with a crazy idea, it's like, hey, I want to do a backpack. And everybody's, you would think the first thing people are like, what are you talking about? Wait, you just want to make a backpack? But everybody's been so amazing that the community here is so supportive in terms of helping you connect you to the right individuals, giving you their feedback, or actually even be able to help drive this thing along. I found all that here. And I think, if I were back in Austin or back anywhere else, it'll be very difficult to find that same network of individuals that are able to really help push something like this along. Show up with somebody's door. It's like, hey, I have this backpack. They'll close the door in your face and send you off somewhere else in New York. But here, everybody's so willing to dive in and really lean in and help connect you with the right parties, or even just help out with what we're doing. So I found that to be incredible.
Yeah. Could you give a shout out to any particular individuals who have been really helpful to you?
The list is endless. I would say the list is endless. I mean, just even meeting people like you have been amazing. I want to give a shout out to you. Stephen Green is I think he's a Portland super connector.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's just there, and I think he is like the main node between every connection point that I have
Mhm.
around Portland. You know, I got to give a shout out to my wife, Crystal Ngene, as well. She's an amazing. She's like she's an amazing connector as well, and she's always like, you got to get in front of these folks, and you got to talk to these folks. But I just think that list, I would do it injustice if I just started naming off a few more people. I feel like the list is so huge of amazing people that's really helped us along the way.
Right, right. I mean, there are some amazing groups here in town, from TAO to OEN,
Yes.
Rick over at Pi, Mitch over at Built Oregon. All of these people really support each other and support founders who are doing cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of next steps for you, you started this company this year, or how old is the company?
Late last year is when we officially kicked things off. You know, this was birthed out of COVID, I would say. It was one of those ideas, you're sitting at the bar and you're just like talking with a couple buddies and kicking ideas around. But
Well,
then,
I hear that Rumple started the same way, and Rumple is a nationwide success now. So
exactly. That's
yeah.
a good tap house and a good beer can make for amazing products. I mean, we're looking at the Ineos Grenadier. So it's a new vehicle that was actually named after a pub in England. And so just having the opportunity to just kind of sit back and talk with folks and get things going late last year, and like, hey, we're going to do this seriously. Like, let's quit our jobs and like actually really dive into this thing. And so it's been amazing, just like that journey from even when we first started. You know, we were 2 days old and we were already talking to people out here, and I had a really bad concept at the time, and I was showing people to where we are now. And that was like 5 or 6 months. Just the amount of growth we've had in that short period of time has been incredible. And then we launched later this year in October, and this has just been a sprint, literally, to get this product out, test it, get it in the wild, get the idea out there, validate it with people, and then provide it to the individuals. I think it's pretty incredible that we move so quickly.
Right, right. So what's the next stage for you? Like, you have a company, you have a product, you're kind of on the path. What's the next milestones?
Our next milestone is first week. We have a Kickstarter happening in this summer. That's our big first one before we just get to launch. That's our big one. The Kickstarter is going to be our proof point to really test and showcase our traction and showcase the idea to the world in a broader sense. Then we have that launch that happens in October to really get the idea out there. And then we have this whole roadmap around keeping that energy going post-launch. We're going to be very deliberate about how we're releasing different colors and different pieces into our ecosystem. We're calling this an ecosystem because this is not a backpack. This is an ecosystem that's going to extend way beyond a traditional backpack. And so introducing new components, introducing new colors to the ecosystem is going to be very intentional. I think our biggest milestone is going to be at about that year 2 mark after launch, when we actually have a majority of our colors on the market and really seeing how people are utilizing this system in their lifestyles. And so, show people on Instagram showing, oh, this is my wall of caps, and I have these different harnesses, and every day I mix and match them to the kids going to school, and there's a new different color every day, or whatever it might be. I think that's going to be one of our biggest milestones, is to really engage with the community and actually have the community teach us how they're using their own personal storage ecosystems.
Right, right. I mean, people actually using your product will shape your product, right?
Yes, exactly. And the feedback that we get as well from like the social media, from other individuals, all of that's going to help inform the next things that are coming to our ecosystem, because we want to make sure that we want to maximize usefulness and really have something that's useful to everybody that's adding these different components to their ecosystem.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you plan, once you achieve that Kickstarter, do you plan to go direct to consumers, or do you plan to go through different channels? I know with hard goods, with consumer goods, you often have to line up a distributor, a channel, and sometimes that's a hard hill to climb.
Yes, that's a difficult challenge, especially now, because there's, the world of in-person retail is changing a little bit. Actually, people thought it was going to be all DTC, and we're going to be able to do everything digitally, but actually they were proved otherwise when the consumer said, actually, I kind of like going to the store, but I like shopping in the store differently. Our goal is to be DTC. We're going to be DTC out the gate. That's how we're going to deliver mostly to consumer, but especially backpacks. People want to see it in store.
Right. So just so people know who might not know the acronym, DTC is direct to consumer.
Yes, direct to consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
exactly. And so we're looking at different retail partners that can actually help share our experience, because our product is not something you're just going to walk on the shelf and, oh, looks cool and buy it. You can do that, but it's about the experience. And we're looking, with our wholesale partners, we're looking for people who can actually showcase and share our experience. We're in early conversations with folks like REI, like how do we do something like this in store? I mean, to even not just showcase our product, but actually help fuel their whole backpack space. They describe it as the sea of same. Everything is all the same. You walk in, you can kind of close your eyes and like, I don't know the difference between this bag and that one. They need something like this that could potentially help shake up their backpack space and actually make it more interesting. Our product could potentially draw people in to their stores so they can actually see what we're doing, but also cross shop other folks as well. And so we're just looking for making sure our wholesale partners are going to be able to maximize the experience that our product creates.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to tracking your progress.
Yeah.
I have two more questions for you. As we move into kind of the post-consumer boom where everything is plastic and consumed quickly and thrown away,
Yes.
what does the future look like in terms of sustainable products? That's a huge question, but I think you have some opinions about this.
I have lots of opinions, so many actually. I try not to Pacmodo, if I were to have my way, it through and through, it's a sustainability company.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about it because sustainability, it should be something that we just do. We don't have to just constantly shove it down the consumer's throat like, we're sustainable. No. Let's put our product where our mouths are. When we created Pacmodo, we want to set out from day one. It's like, hey, nobody should ever throw our products away. And people were like, well, what do you mean by that? Our product was based off of the premise that if you love something and you like it in your lifestyle, it should last. And if you get to the point that it's not suiting your needs anymore, because we all grow and change over time. We don't know who we're going to be 4 years from now.
Yeah.
That product, you send it back to us. We want to make sure that thing doesn't end up in the landfill unnecessarily. And we want to refurbish that product and actually put it back on the market in our second life marketplace at a lower price. And so rather than coming out the gate and we're trying to race to the bottom and turn the price, like really celebrate the life of that product. We want to be premium product coming out the gate, but then offer that secondhand product to somebody at a much lower price, and to keep that thing going, keep it around and keep it out of landfill. Because, with sustainability, we always focus on the 3R: produce, reuse, recycle. We focus a lot on that recycle, put a lot of energy and a lot of effort there, but the reduce and reuse is super important. And I feel like we need to put a more emphasis there to actually have a much more sustainable future. And so our company is really set up nicely to focus on that reduce and reuse. Maybe in 20 years, we'll have more used product than we're making brand new stuff. The new stuff is capsules and things coming in to inject energy in. But we're actually making a majority of our sales through the resale of our used product. And so that's the ecosystem that I'm talking about. It's that long-term thinking about how we're using our product. And if a product gets to the point where it comes back to us the third time around and it's been soaked in kerosene and torn to pieces and whatnot, we can actually take their product, break it down properly, send the components to the proper waste streams, the proper recycle streams, and salvage whatever we can. And maybe we can make new additions out of the stuff, out of the bits and pieces of our old stuff. And so we want to just keep this stuff going. And that's how I see sustainability. It's not talking about it. It's not saying this or that. It's actually just doing the right thing in terms of what we're trying to create and creating an
inspiring vision.
Yeah.
So we often ask at the end of a podcast, what do you dream? But it sounds like you've just painted a dream there. That's your vision of the future of sustainable products, right?
Yes, exactly. What we dream is that, like, what else can this be applied to? Backpacks are a Trojan horse. That's the thing that we're going to use to really understand how the world wants to use product over the long term, especially things like soft goods, things that are non-durable. What else can we do? I don't know. The sky's the limit in terms of what else we can explore. Backpacks is where we want to start, because that is a beautiful case study and something that's durable, but often forgotten about. And it has lacked innovation since the moment we've been standing upright. We put backpacks on and we look forward and forget about them because our eyes are here. The backpacks are behind us. But all we've done is just brought that into the forefront, gave it some thoughtful, clever innovation, and actually made backpack's pretty cool and relevant to people in their lives. So
fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing your vision with us. It's inspiring to talk to you, David. I'm really excited to get one of your packs when they're available and be able to integrate that into my life. Thank you.
Yes, late October, be on the lookout. That's when they'll be releasing.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today, and hopefully we'll be able to talk again soon.
All right, thank you. Man, this is amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to our guests today for their great insights on Dare, the podcast for innovators, entrepreneurs, and startup leaders. If you'd like your story to be featured on Dare, just contact us at info@darwaft.com. Dare is brought to you by Darwaft, the tech team that can make your vision a reality.